Podcast time. It's noise cancelling. It is 2021. The world is going to get better. That's a fact. We're here to talk to you about technology, which is still happening. And I am Gareth Beavis, Global Editor-in-Chief of TechRadar. I've taken on a fairly weird newscaster voice. Not sure why. Who's on the podcast with me?
I am Sherri L, Editor-in-Chief of Laptop Mag.
I am Henry St. Ledger, Home Cinema Editor on TechRadar.
I'm James Peckham, Phones Editor for TechRadar.
And, well, I've already introduced myself as well. But, Henry, you shook your head when I was lauding 2021 as the best year we'll ever have.
Do you want to get into this now?
Let's go. I mean, I feel like, it started quietly in the UK, admittedly, going into lockdown, never fun. But equally, that's basically all of it done. That's going to be the bad bits of the year all finished. And then everything will be great from my...
We said that last March.
Yeah. I do think 2022 is going to be a great year.
I said by the end of June it was going to be fine, and I was wrong last year, okay? I thought I'd have a lovely barge holiday with my family in the summer. I can't believe how... I'm not going to get into this. Anyway, let's talk about technology. I was just going in my own mental rabbit hole. Sherri, what's it like in America? How's it all going over there in the land of the free?
Well, as far as I know, Trump will be gone in a few weeks, 2 weeks, not even that. Looks like the Democrats took the Senate, so I'm having a pretty great day today so far.
See, 2021 coming in strong. Right, well, this is our New Year first podcast of the new year. We did some lovely specials over the Christmas period, which a lot of people enjoyed, I assume. But this year, we're going to be talking about what's happening in 2021. Now, CES is the big thing that's going to be happening in a very short amount of time, which we'll get into on the pod quite strongly because, let's face it, there's not much else to talk about. But before that, it's time for some stereotypical podcast nonsense that everyone else is probably doing on a million other pods around the world. What's your New Year's tech resolution? They're probably not doing a tech part of it because that'd be weird if you're doing like a true crime one. But I'm going to start with you, James. What is your first New Year's tech resolution? What are you going to do better this year tech-wise?
You're probably going to shake your head at this one, but I'm going to remove Twitter from the home screen of my phone. I'm going to replace it with the game Quiz Up, and I'm going to use muscle memory to make sure every single time that I want to click to go onto Twitter, I instead just play a nice little game and learn some more general knowledge. That's my plan for this year.
Why would I shake my head at that?
I don't know. It's just a sort of, like, as you say, that's a typical sort of answer to this, isn't it? Of like, I'm going to spend less time on Twitter. But I want to. I'm at the moment. I'm just doing loads of geography quizzes on Quiz Up. I'm that sort of cool dude that sits down in lockdown and does some geography revision.
What's the best fact you've learned so far?
Best fact I've learned so far. I genuinely didn't know the smallest county in the UK. It's Rutland. Didn't know that.
That's quite shit.
Oh, okay. I thought it was quite good. That's the sort of thing I love.
Why would that be good?
It's better than Twitter, though.
Yeah.
For me, it is at the moment.
Yeah, that's a plus, yeah. I mean, the amount of times I uninstall apps just to save myself is massive. And Twitter I use for work just a little bit too much to do it properly. But I have removed every app from my home screen, and now I just have the old pull down to search for them when I need them, so I don't have muscle memory. But then now the iPhone's got the Siri suggestions. It's always telling you like things you might want to see, so it just keeps going like, how about this? And then now it's got the scrolling news that pops up every so often. I keep clicking on news. It's not going well. I should get rid of that. But that's a good start. I like it. I feel like you're right. Anything that's better than Twitter. Henry, welcome to the podcast again.
Hello.
How about you this year? What are your New Year's tech resolutions?
I struggled with this one. I have an ongoing resolution every year, which is part of me like use tech less, be on screens less, but also I always end up doing more, partially because I'm here. I definitely want to...
And you are the TV editor for TechRadar, which screens are a fairly big part.
No, that screen doesn't count. I think probably more social media, mobile screen time, but I don't count TV screen time because I couldn't take those metrics. I think I do want to get like some proper headphones for TV viewing. When I was playing The Last of Us Part 2, I had to keep stopping because my significant other couldn't take the screams. So I think I need to invest in a way to block out and protect her from my content. Sorry?
Was that from the game though? Not just from you, not from you going like, this is just so amazing? Or
I mean, I actually don't want to specify which one it was. It was maybe a bit of both.
Yeah, because that was my question.
But I mean, there's probably an opportunity to be like the world's expert in TV speakers. You could just turn the TV round, not watch anything, thus getting rid of screen time, and just be like really into the speakers.
Yeah, I could turn every TV show into a podcast. Bridgerton, the podcast.
Yeah, there you are. See, there you are. You're saving yourself in many ways. Okay, I like both of these so far. Sherri, welcome to 2021. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. It's looking kind of plush over here. I'm excited. My tech resolution, I am actually going to start using technology to get fit. So I am actually going to start researching a fitness band so I can start working out more.
Well, which one are you thinking? I've got loads of ideas for you right now.
I have no idea. Like, I am going to be starting from scratch and like reading Tom's Guide and TechRadar and trying to see between the two where I go. But I am open to any and all suggestions, Gareth.
Regular listeners to the podcast will recognize my cat. She's just taken a tumble into the game again.
She was agreeing. She was giving suggestions. She was saying Fitbit charge 4 and meows.
I've let the 6-year-old know that, I've made her believe that I can speak to the cat now, and that's got a bit far, and I feel a bit weird about it. She's like, what's she saying? I'm just interpreting, like she told a really good story the other day, and now I feel a bit like, well, this just feels like I'm lying comprehensively.
You can never tell her. It's too late.
I feel like I might just try and convince her that she can also speak to her. Then like there will be complicit in the whole thing. I feel like she'll get on board with that. But yeah, how you doing, Daisy? All right. But for me, in terms of tech resolutions, I really struggle with this because I don't have any. I always want to get fitter and stronger and do better. That's fun. And tech is a huge part of that. But I don't have any resolutions to do that because I just like to try out the new different bits and pieces. Like the new Garmin watches are doing some really cool stuff with predicted workouts and things that are actually quite helpful. And I've been using Fitness Plus massively over the she is absolutely ruining my podcast recording right now, but she's purring, so that's nice. But I've been using Apple Fitness Plus a lot over the Christmas period. Partly because it was there and I was isolating for a bit because the app decided to tell me that can't go outside for a week because apparently I'd been near somebody. I was fine. But so I was doing Fitness Plus for a lot of it, and I started to get quite into some parts of it and then really despise some other parts. And by say parts, I mean the trainers on there. You quite quickly become quite tribal. I'm like really into Bakari's workouts. He's very smiley. He's great. Sam's given some great energy, but there's some on there I just like, I don't like you. I don't like your energy. It's not happening. So, but if you're looking to get into fitness, actually, Fitness Plus is quite good from Apple. I feel like it's a really good beginner's way in. So that's an option.
Okay.
Have you tried Fit, the alternative, the spelled with 2 eyes? We should get you on that. We should get you on that and see how they compare and contrast.
I want to try Wonder Size. Have you heard about that one as well?
No, I've not.
That does a similar thing to Apple Watch, but does it with Garmin watches as well. Apparently, they've been pitching me for a while. I keep meaning to try it out, but time is quite pressing at the moment. My New Year's tech resolution is one that I will fail at, which is I want to get to know my PS4 better because I've had it for ages and I don't play it well. I don't play it anywhere near enough. At all, and I'm gonna buy a PS5 relatively soon, just because I'll crack and like I want the rumbly trigger fingers, and I feel like I should really just get a bit more out of the PS4 first.
How? What do you think that you're going to be making this PS5 purchase? I feel so bad for your PS4. It's just been there. It's just withering from a lack of love.
Yeah, I used it as a DVD player the other day.
Oh, you're disrespectful.
Also, it's really pissing me off because it keeps booting up when I turn the TV on because it's gone into a different port and for some reason it keeps getting an on signal.
Play me, Gareth!
No, and then it turns on, it goes, you didn't shut me down properly. And I start to really hate it. Like the amount of like, I wasn't turned off properly. I was like, well, just turn off then. Stop going to like weird rest modes.
That won't change in the PS5. that makes a return for the PS5.
I know, it probably does, yeah. But equally, I've heard that the hard drives for that are pretty cheap, so I can just corrupt loads of them and it'll be fine, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm not going to allocate any points for that because I'll be allocating points on people's desires, and I'm not going to do that. But if I was going to, it would be Pexy. Right, we've got a new feature for 2021, and it is when we get a new guest / a less regular guest on / me and Sherri one day when we get bored, we want to find out about their entries into the Gadget Hall of Fame. I felt like we needed a jingle. Haven't got one prepared. But basically, what we want to hear is from all of our new guests, regular presenters, regular people who just pop in and say hello once in a while, what they think should be in the Gadget Hall of Fame. Now, ideally, this would be, my first gadget that I fell in love with, or the first gadget that they really hated but think could be really quite good, or just the best of all time. Because a lot of things in technology, whether it's me getting older or not, are about the old stuff because it likes to be nostalgic. So Henry St. Ledger, you're the first one in the Gadget Hall of Fame. How does it smell? Does it look sparkly and feel like a new place, or have we just refurbished a shed?
Well, I'm here, so it's absolutely sparkly and radiant, is what I'm going to say. Very flattered that you brought me on because you were bored. But I have been thinking a lot about what I wanted to induct into the Gadget Hall of Fame. I think the first time I was really excited by tech, I was about 8 years old, and I convinced my parents to get me these sneakers, these running trainers that had a little stopwatch built into the laces, like not like a connected one, but just a stopwatch on the laces. So it didn't necessarily track anything about the shoe. I just had to keep bending down to use a stopwatch on my shoes. But when I was 8 years old, I thought this was the coolest thing in the world.
Okay, I like it. Do you know the brand, or is that impossible to remember?
I have been working tirelessly to use both the internet and my mother, the two sources of knowledge in my life. But neither could tell me what the brand was, what model this was, actually what year it was. And I'm 95% sure I haven't just dreamed a pair of stopwatch trainers.
I enjoy it as 95% sure. I do feel like I vaguely remember something like that, though. The idea when you said the stopwatch was laced on rather than plugged in somewhere, I feel like that definitely rings a bell. I mean, as soon as you said it, I thought, well, the last thing I want to do when if I'm going to time myself running was to bend down and press a button on my shoe. However, it's always going to be there with you. If you when you go running, you need your trainers. And what's on the trainers? Stopwatch every time. Do you remember any of your split times?
I could make some up for you.
Great, yeah. Did you ever actually use it though? More to the point.
Yeah, I used it constantly, and it's clearly led to an illustrious career as a TV journalist. So it definitely inspired a lifetime of fitness in me.
Well, you say that, and as you said, I just remembered the last Christmas party that we were allowed to attend a year and a bit ago, where we had to go. We decided that everyone should race up to that statue, climb through its legs, and run back. And you won that.
I did. I won the statue race.
Yeah.
Someone beat my time, and I got very angry and redid it.
Yeah.
Just because.
I've got a video somewhere. I'm going to see if you sort of like impulsively twitch towards your trainers just before you start to see if it's still in there.
Probably.
As a muscle.
I whispered to the stopwatch.
Yeah, it'd be much easier with Alexa now. Okay, cool. Well, the no brand trainers with a stopwatch in is the bar that the next week's guest must follow. That's going to be good.
If anyone listening has any idea what I'm talking about, please tweet at me. I'll be so grateful.
Yeah. Or you could just put a Casio watch on your current trainers and achieve the same thing. Yeah, exactly. Right, things that are actually happening in the tech world. Well, as we mentioned at the top of the show, CES 2021, which is the Consumer Electronics Show 2021. We would normally be from the UK, jet lagged in Las Vegas right now. But that's not happening this year because of stupid coronavirus. So that means that we're all here watching a virtual event, which will be happening from the 11th to the 14th of January this year. Does mean that we're still going to have a lot of different companies launching lots of different gadgets. So there will be many things to bring to you in terms of information. We're definitely going to see loads of robots as ever at CES. But I mean, first of all, let's just get a feeling. Like, Henry, you're the TVs guy. CES is often very TVs-y. Are you actually excited this year, or are you muted in your luster?
I'm excited. I'd probably be more jazzed if I was there at CES. Going around the booths. There's an excitement in the air there. But I think even as CES goes online, and a lot of manufacturers are probably opting out to do their own thing, there are still a lot of TV makers, I think, who are going to be coming out with stuff in the next few days. We've already seen LG come out with a bendable OLED, which can switch between a flat screen TV and a curved gaming monitor. So, people are really pulling out all the stops. I mean,
you sound like that bit was sort of semi-sarcastic at the end, but that does sound quite cool.
Yeah, that's just how I sound all the time. That's just my voice.
Oh, well, I appreciate that that was the main event. And is it 48 inch?
Yeah, 48-inch, which is a new OLED size that came in last year as well.
Yeah, which and it's great to see. But I feel that's big for a monitor, gaming monitor, because don't you sit quite close to that now? I'm feeling like old man Gareth now, properly old man Gareth.
I love that no one listening will be able to tell, but there's a bit of perfect split between everyone else shaking their heads at what Gareth just said. Just no, of course that's not too big. That's far too small. I need 80 inches of gaming.
I have the 55-inch Alienware OLED monitor, and it is glorious.
Yeah, but you got to sit further away from that, right?
No?
Really? I'm just gonna go all in on this. Surely that close to those pixels. I should know more about this, but I don't. That close to that many pixels, it's going to feel quite rough, and you're gonna see too many artifacts. You're supposed to sit 2.5 times back. That's like 145 inches away, for 160 inches away from the monitor.
Nah.
Oh.
Nah.
Good chat. Thanks, Sherri.
I'm in front of a 55-inch OLED right now upstairs, and if I'm 3 feet away from that, I would be very surprised. And it's a glorious view. So no, I don't feel a need to back up. But keep in mind, I've also been wearing glasses since I was 8 years old, so that might have a very, very heavy contributor to why I've been in glasses since I was 8 years old.
Okay, fine. Well, I stand fully corrected on this one. I would assume that was too close, but apparently you can see everything in all glory from about a foot away. So how am I to know these things? Sherri, are you excited about CES this year, given the fact that it is often your place of happiness each?
It is my place of happiness. I am upset that I am not in Vegas. It's my favorite show of the year. Like, I get to go see all these booths, get to see people I only talk to throughout the year. So I'm a little sad at the format, but I am not going to let 2021 or the remnants of 2020 get me down. I am going to keep the grand holiday of CES alive in my heart. So I am super amped for CES.
Okay, good. And what are you most excited about?
There are it seems like we're on the brink of a lot of refreshes. I think we're going to hear a lot of big news from AMD and Nvidia, maybe even Intel. I'm hoping we hear something from Intel. So that means more laptops for me, and that's always a happy day.
I mean, that's useful for Laptop Mag. I feel like without that, it's a lot more difficult. But I'm glad that you found a happy place still. I mean, will you be recreating the Vegas experience in your house, like having a few men just randomly flutter leaflets at you, have a general sense of dread? I don't know. This is my experience normally.
Wait, what is going on with the men at CES? What are they doing to you?
The people that do the old flicky.
What is that?
What?
Oh, this is going down a weird route. Let's go for it. You're walking down the strip, and there are people who are constantly trying to get you to do things, and they can't, as in like to go for experiences. Let's say.
Oh,
and they can't call out, so they have to just bang the leaflets against their hand and thrust them at you. And you have to ignore a lot of them.
Nah, well, as a woman, they don't tend to do that to me. So
I've just remembered what they're actually trying to push.
Yeah, they don't.
I've been for so many years that I don't even consider. It's just part of the noise, and you just ignore it. I just remembered what it is they're actually trying to get you to do. It's not very nice.
Is this our first sponsor?
Yeah, the script is just going to be just a flick, flick. Okay, yeah, well, you don't have to do that part then, but just, I don't know, pump some oxygen into your bedroom. Start to feel like everything's a bit fresher for no reason.
I always have a great time in Las Vegas. It's busy. It's grueling. Like, CES is a great team building experience. Like, it's basically you sit there, you take a bunch of lumps of coal, and the pressure just makes diamonds because you have to latch on to someone when you're working those 16-hour days. Like, okay, today's the day I fall apart, and then your partner comes in like, nah. Today's not the day. Today, we rise up. Today, we hit these quotas. Today, we see this new gadget. We get these videos. We get this scoop, and we do it. Like, I love CES. It's awesome.
I mean, I've just got a real imposter syndrome complex about being editor-in-chief suddenly. I'm gonna let that I'm letting that hang. I don't care. I'm going. I feel like I get to the second down. I'm like, nope, can't do it anymore. And then no one's there to pick me up. I just sit there, just quietly crying on the floor.
Well, like also, y'all stay at a Luxor, correct?
I don't know. We're all over the strip, depending on where they put us most of the time.
Do you stay in the pyramid?
I stayed in the pyramid. I was in the pyramid.
I know the Luxor, but it alternates quite a lot between different places.
You folks, next year when we go, because I'm confident that we will have a physical CES next year, make sure you get a hotel with the jacuzzi tubs. Those things are lifesavers.
I don't think the reason we haven't got one is because we didn't ask. I feel like it's a budgetary constraint as much as anything.
All right.
Yeah.
We will talk about that offline.
Fair enough. Pexy, you've done how many CESs have you done?
I've only done 2. It's obviously not a big mobile experience, is it? There's often a couple of smartphones that get announced over CES, so there should be some stuff for me next week, but it's nowhere near as much my focus as it is for Henry or Sherri. But yeah, so I've done 2 in the past, but mostly it's been covering other topics. There's been the odd smartphone, the odd wearable, but it's mostly tellies, isn't it? Really.
And how did you enjoy the experience?
I've liked it. Again, I like Vegas. It's for 3 days. It's a fun experience in that way. But yeah, it's not somewhere I go. Oh, Sherri.
Also, y'all are only going for 3 days. Like we go for the whole week. It's like we live there.
I feel like we're Vegasing wrong.
Yeah, I feel like you are.
Maybe we are doing it wrong.
Yeah.
I feel like I normally go for 3 days. Maybe I don't. Maybe it just feels like 3 days and it's actually a full week. But yeah.
If that was the case, then the flight time would take about 2 days of that. So you'd just be there for a day.
Yeah, that's it.
You got a day trip to Vegas. That's cool. Right, we're going to talk some more CES in a minute, but just before that, we're going to take a little quick break. So we'll be back in a moment. So this week's episode of the Noise Cancelling Podcast is brought to you in association with Western Digital, but specifically the WD Black.
This is for all of my gamers out there. Whether you prefer to play on a console, PC, or laptop, it's important to use storage drives that are built to perform. The go-to is the WD Black regardless of what's being played. You know that you can increase any capacities and any speed to get in fast and take out opponents even faster. Now, no matter what you're looking for, WD Black has a drive for you. Whether you want to reduce load times or streamline your connectivity, a trusted drive can help you lead to more victories. Each drive is expertly designed inside and out to offer you premium gameplay with performance storage that is purpose-built for gaming because WD Black knows that the game never waits. With expansive storage capabilities on WD Black drives, you can save all of your old favorite titles to the drive while firing up a new game or your console or PC. Plus, you can forget about tedious loading screens or needing to delete other games to make room. You can now get that time back by increasing your console or PC storage and speed with WD Black drives.
So if you want to learn more about the portfolio of WD Black drives and optimize your gameplay with a drive that fits your console, desktop PC or laptop needs, make sure to head to wdblack.com to find the perfect drive for you. With WD Black, you leave no game behind. Remember, that's wdblack.com. Well, we should probably talk about things that are actually happening there. We've chatted a little about the TVs. Obviously, this whole new world of 48-inch monitors, that's new to everybody. Very excited about that. That's going to be probably the big story, I'd imagine, that 48-inch is going to be the new monitor size. Robots. We often see those at CES. Last year, again, just to sort of show what kind of show it is, the toilet paper bringing robot was probably the headline. From
People
I think it was
loved that, didn't they?
From Charmin, yeah. And I was like, it's such, people do things at CES that's just there for headlines, and that's absolutely one of them. You know, it's basically a robot vacuum that doesn't do any sucking up and just brings you toilet roll, I guess. But if you're going to restock the robot, just restock your toilet. That makes me feel that way.
Yeah, but people forget, like, the more the merrier. Like, you say that until you get to that dreaded moment when it's time to wipe or pat down or whatever you're doing in there, and you're stuck on the toilet, nobody's home, and you're like, oh, am I going to have to do the waddle of shame? How am I going to get out of this situation? No, I've got Charmin bots, and it comes, and it's like this little lifesaver. Like here's some soft goodness for your tushy.
But I mean, the chances of that, first of all, that thing actually having some toilet roll, because, I would have probably robbed it ages ago. And secondly, being charged up in the hopefully fairly rare moments when I actually need it, are pretty low. I feel like that thing's going to be like the one time I need it in a year, I'll be like, no, it's not ready. I've wasted a lot of money here.
Especially in 2021 when toilet roll shortages happen again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's why there are shortages. The robots have them.
That's going to be the problem for everything. That's where Skynet's going to start.
Last year there were a lot of emotional support robots as well, weren't there? Like things things for especially older people, for example, people who aren't surrounded by people. I think that's quite an interesting trend, and hopefully we see a bit more of that sort of stuff this year, and maybe ones that are a little bit more commercially viable as well. It seemed like the ones that actually were announced last year were, again, maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like those ones aren't easy to buy at the moment. Hopefully we see a bit more of that as the trend.
And also, I think robotics has got a lot of applications in, let's be less fun, which is odd for this podcast, I know, but the enterprise space or business, where I think LG's working on a robot this year that just can radiate out ultraviolet light, which means it can sort of go from room to room and just do some good old disinfecting, which, given the current situation, would be quite a useful thing. And it can do it autonomously. If you combine that with being able to drop off some toilet roll once in a while, I mean, genius. I think we're going to see more things like that this year, and robotics at CES always gets the headlines. I remember last year, one of the best things that I did was, I think that day 4, so I was left there for a while, because I used to get up early and go for a run in the desert or whatever, because you don't get to do that very much in England. I would be so tired come sort of about 3 or 4 o'clock with the jet lag as well. And I went and did the smart sleep section. Oh man, I had a great lie down on the bed for a good half hour. One that did different heat zones and had like pressure sensors. Oh, it was so good. It was genuinely one of the best moments of the year.
That's why you didn't write anything. Okay.
Yeah, I was managing.
So a couple of things. Like, as much as I love technology, robotics is one area where I do get a little apprehensive because I grew up with the Terminator movies. And do you want Skynet? This is how you get Skynet. I'm thinking particularly of Boston Dynamics and their robots. If you are unfamiliar, Boston Dynamics is the company that makes the robot that looks like a headless animal, and it can run about 30 miles per hour. It is also the company that makes that robot where you see the video where it's trying to get through the door and the tester keeps just agitating this robot, and I'm waiting for it to become sentient and just rip that poor man limb from limb. So I see that. And I also see that Boston Dynamics has recently been acquired. So instead of those like low-key terrifying, these are your next potential robot overlord videos. Now the new company is putting out videos of the robots dancing. I'm like, yeah, just trying to lull us into a false sense of security. I see you, robots.
And I suppose, the Hyundai owning Boston Dynamics is a slight worry, but they made them look cute by dancing, right?
Yeah, that's how they get your guard down. Like, oh my God, cute! Like we start personifying these robots, and they're just like us. And like, no, they're not just like us. Unlike us, we can't rip a human being limb from limb. Like, no.
Talk for yourself.
Yeah, like you can't, like, putting googly eyes on the end of a gun isn't going to make me less scared of it.
Exactly.
It actually would. Like if someone's holding a gun at you and then it's really scary. Imagine that scenario with Google Eyes. You are like 0.01% less scared.
I feel like that just goes into. I think that's just another layer of fear for the traumatization bank that I'll have to work through later. Like,
but equally, I've survived being held at gunpoint. So I'm like, overall, I'm up.
All right. That took a dark turn quickly. Like Gareth, I was going to give my CES tip, like in the South Hall 1 and 2. If you go towards the back, it is just nothing but massage chairs. That you say that, but you can never get on them. Like I have to wait for ages to get on a massage chair. I don't know what you're like. You go towards the end of the day, like
okay, fair enough, yeah.
Like start at the back, start around 4 o'clock, and you can just work your way up to the entrance, and by the time you're done, you're just crazy relaxed because you've been in at least 5 chairs. Magical.
Do you not feel like this year now, when you say that, I'm like, oh my God, are they wiping them down? Like, this is like everything in life. It's like when I watch movies that were filmed before the last year. I'm like, how close are those people? They're so close to each other.
Actually, they were wiping them down before all of this happened.
I'm sure they were anyway. I mean, that's not the question. It's just like, that's the first thing that comes to mind now compared to being like, well, that sounds great. And they do really work. And I think if you look on TechRadar, there's about 3 articles of me just trying to justify being in a massage chair and trying to make it tech focused. They put Alexa in one year. That was a gold mine.
Yes.
Samsung, they are going to be there doing lots of TVs and bits and pieces, but they're also going to not be at a place that nobody's technically going to be at the end of it by doing what we believe is going to be the Samsung Galaxy S21 launch on the 14th of January, which is also technically during CES, but not because this is unpacked, right? Unpick this, Pexy.
Yep. So
unpick unpacked.
Yeah, the first unpacked event of 2021. Very, very early in the year. We usually expect this around the end of February, start of March, but they've decided to go earlier this year, it seems like, with their flagship phone. So we're expecting 3 phones. We're expecting the Samsung Galaxy S21, the S21 Plus, and the S21 Ultra. We're probably also going to get a pair of headphones as well, is what the rumors suggest. So it's probably going to be the Galaxy Buds Pro. And we may also get Samsung's Galaxy Smart Tags. I think they've been rumored to be called. We've seen some leaked footage. Essentially, they are tile trackers, and I wonder why Samsung would be making those. Probably because it's rumored that Apple are making some as well. So,
but Apple has had adequate chance to do so. Apple has been rumored to be doing this for 4,000 years.
exactly. So we're expecting all 5 of those things. We may also see some other surprises, but those are going to be the main elements here. Obviously, I would say this anyway, but I think the 3 phones are the most exciting element here. Really, the headphones aren't anything game-changing from what we've seen so far. We don't know all that much about what the game-changing features on the phones will be. We've seen pretty much everything, but there's no real thing to get your teeth into at the moment. So very excited to see what Samsung is pushing when they get on stage and what they try and sell this phone around, essentially.
But the back of the S21 looks weird.
It does look weird, doesn't it? It looks really weird. So, all listeners should go and Google it right now and go to TechRadar's article, please. But yeah, you can see the rear of the phone in a variety of leaks, and it's essentially a two-tone between the camera sensor on the left-hand side, if I'm right. It's an absolutely massive camera bump this year, and yeah, it just juts out, doesn't it? It doesn't. It's a very odd design. Yep. So we're expecting that on January 14th, and we should hear all the details around those phones then, and they're probably coming out at the end of the month.
Cool. So there's a little bit of a lag in between, very Apple-esque for maybe 2 weeks before you have to get your hands on the phone.
Yeah, that's what we're expecting at the moment. Quite often, Apple allow you to pre-order the handset straight away in the UK, and usually have to wait around a day in the US. So we would expect that again this year, but you'll basically know next Thursday. And
you can already pre-order a pre-order slot, right, for the Samsung Galaxy S21 if you want to.
Yeah, that's a trend that keeps coming around at the moment, isn't it? For a load of for a few different devices in that way. Yeah, you can pre-order your slot to pre-order, so that maybe suggests that there isn't that much stock at the moment, but we can't really read too much into that at the moment.
And I do feel like it's sort of been, I sort of skipped over quite a lot the fact that Apple and Samsung were doing, iPhone 4, Galaxy S5, and Samsung was just a little bit ahead, and then Apple goes, you know what? The iPhone 8, we're going to do the iPhone 10 as well. And we're going to jump ahead. And Samsung's like, what's better than 10? 20. We're just going to jump there instead of going to the S11. And I feel like it's been sort of under-talked about how petty that is. No, we got the biggest number. And now Samsung's working with the year of the phone, and Apple's now on, 8 behind. And it's like, it's crazy that we're having this kind of weird tit for tat that no one's really talked about. But there you go.
I get the logic. I understand the logic that it's going to follow the year, and that makes sense. It's coming in January, but it's just confusing to the average person, isn't it? Like that they jump from an S10 to an S20 to an S21. Like, surely people are going to walk into a shop and just be a bit like, what? I think you need to know something around that to be able to understand it.
Well, they should Google it on TechRadar.
They should.
Google it on TechRadar. What?
Always
Google it and read TechRadar. Anyway, let's leave this sorry mess behind, and let's turn to arguably the greatest guest of 2021, Henry St. Ledger, who's going to be doing the news blast. So for new listeners, if you just stumbled upon this, I don't know what you call this carnival of shame, The news blast is every guest each week gets 60 seconds to try and tell you, the listener, about as many news stories as they can. The world record stands at 13 in 60 seconds. The only rules are you cannot read from a script because that ruins the fun. And the listener, has to walk away feeling like, okay, I get what that story's about. It's going to be very brief, but enough to not go, hey, what? So, Henry, those are the only two rules you've got to go for. I'm going to go with 60 seconds on the clock. Do you understand your task?
Yes, I'm just going to be very sad when I don't beat the record.
But the low bar, is 4. So
Okay,
beat 4, which is basically like don't read out a whole story.
But you never know.
You say that.
Oh no.
It's very easy to start going like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and this happened. This is what I think, and then 15 seconds later,
you're just going to cut the audio to make it sound like I stumbled through 1.5. I don't trust you.
If I could do that, I would, but I leave it to somebody else. So, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, LG has unveiled a bendable OLED TV that can shift between a curved monitor and a flat screen. Cyberpunk 2077 has lost 3/4 of its player base on Steam within the first month. Netflix has left the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U, but still hasn't appeared on the Switch. There are reports of Xbox Series X controllers having connectivity outages that are reportedly being fixed in an upcoming firmware patch. The new iPod Pro this year might feature a mini LED screen. The Microsoft Surface Pro 8 tablet has received a FCC listing and is expected to launch soon. The Xiaomi Mi 11 Lite smartphone is meant to launch in March. Michael Keaton has been confirmed to come back as Batman in the upcoming Flash movie. Slack outages around the world gave all of us a few hours off on Monday. The majority of PS4 consoles have been discontinued, aside from one model to make way for the PS5. Disney Plus in the UK is getting a new Stars channel with loads of adult TV shows.
Stop. I think you're going to count the last one. You didn't do numbers. I'm going to count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Nice.
Woo!
He's done it.
I'm tired.
I started to get worried when I got to it. I was like, oh shit. That was good. Yeah, I can't complain about any of that. You even managed to come back from the Xiaomi Mi 11 question.
I don't cover smartphones. I realize I never say these out loud.
The Xiaomi M.
The Zhao, as we call it for short.
Consider that's a very good pronunciation for one, and I feel like you did to stumble and pick yourself back up again. Wonderful work.
Thank you.
I was really sad that when you said the majority of PS4 consoles we discontinued apart from one, I felt like apart from one single console, like they're going to make one more and it's going to be the one, but then there's one more model. I was like,
and you can pre-order your slot to pre-order it.
Yeah, you can pre-order the pre-order slot.
Yeah, exactly.
Very well done. 13. Excellent work. We'll have to get Gerald back on again to have another fight. I think this is going to keep running and running. Right. We've got another section that we've got new for 2021 in a minute. But before that, we're going to have another break. Let's go. So this week's noise cancelling podcast is also in association with Razer, but specifically the Razer Book 13, and Sherri has touched this thing.
I have touched it, and it is a very exciting laptop. So first things first, let's just get to know what we're talking about here. So the Razer Book 13 is the first 100% productivity laptop from Razer. And yes, I know Razer does have a 13-inch laptop. It's called the Blade Stealth, and it was kind of for work, but this is really a true productivity laptop. It's for working on the go, for mobile professionals, and of course, home office use.
But I feel like there's more coming, right?
Of course. So Razer has teamed with Intel to develop the Razer Book 13, and it's Razer's very first Evo certified laptop. So that Evo certification brings a whole bunch of cool features, like its very long battery runtime. When we tested it, it lasted 13 hours and 14 minutes. It's actually the longest lasting Razer laptop that we've ever tested at Laptop Mag, which is awesome. You get instant wake, which is less than a second to resume power, and the quick recharge functionality, which means you charge it for 30 minutes, you get 4 hours of usage.
That to me is like smartphone, which is pretty good, right?
It's very good. Plus, we get 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, which, because we're living in the future, it's awesome. You get a full-size HDMI port, and you get fast Wi-Fi 6, a good microphone, and HD webcam.
Okay, so there's a lot of stuff in it, but does that mean it's going to be super heavy, sit in a bag, hurt my shoulder?
No, absolutely not. Razer has never been about being a big, bulky laptop. It's not going to start with the Razer Book. It actually weighs 3.1 pounds, which is really, really light, especially considering that the laptop is made of a full CNC aluminum chassis. Beautiful to look at. And we've got to talk about those chroma keys. They're beautiful. They're customizable. 16.8 million colors that you can play with. And that display, the display is bright and vibrant. So vibrant that you can use it outdoors. You've got a 16:10 aspect ratio. So you're going to really get the most out of that real estate. And it's just a beautiful laptop to use. Whether you're in the office, whether you're at home, and it's just a solid, beautiful piece of work.
And so why would a 16:10 screen ratio be useful? That's more than the normal widescreen.
That 16:10 form factor is so important because more screen. Who doesn't want more screen? I want more screen, especially if it's as bright, as vivid as the Razer Book 13's display. So yeah, give me all of that. In addition, you have several resolutions that you can choose from. You've got a full HD plus and an ultra HD plus, and both screens are touchscreens. So if you want to use a stylus or even use your finger, you can do that, and it adds even more functionality to an already productive, targeted laptop. So with that stated, if you are looking for 100% productivity laptop that's lightweight, long-lasting, with a lovely display, the Razer Book 13 is your one-stop shop.
And we're back with this week's noise cancelling podcast, the first of 2021. Right. Usually this is the part where we'd have the unpopular opinion, but we're expanding, guys. We are expanding out from the unpopular opinion. From now on, we're going to have not just the fable of popular opinion. We're going to have, hey, who's screwing up? Quiz for the people. Or I'm sorry, help me. Which is where we're going to do lots of different things. We can talk to you, the lovely listener, about things that you need to hear about. And this week, who is screwing up, Sherri? It's going to be you.
Who is screwing up? It's not me. It's not you. It's not Henry. It's not Pexy. It's Intel. Intel screw it up. Intel screw it up. How is Intel screwing up? Intel has yet to do or say anything about the barbarians at its gate in terms of processors. So last time we were in this channel, we were talking about Apple and its M1 processor and how great it is, and how great and how great AMD has been doing since 2020. AMD has been doing really, really good in the mobile front, and now Apple is in the mobile front making its own ARM chips, and Intel's been kind of quiet. Like, yeah, they launched Tiger Lake, but it's been getting trounced by that M1 chip. And there's a couple of things that I'm concerned with Intel. So last year, Intel all but admitted that it was 2 years behind in the nanometer race. So with that stated, you measure...
Wait, what is a nanometer race? It sounds like very easy to win.
I'm about to tell you.
Okay, fine.
See, you jumped the gun.
Yeah, but I wanted to make a joke about how easy you could win a nanometer race, but it didn't go very well. So
now, boo. So basically, you want your nanometers when it comes to processors as small as possible. So when you say, oh, for example, the Apple M1 chip, it's 5 nanometers. The smaller the chip, the more power efficient it is. So you really, really, really want those chips to have a small number to it. So Apple, the M1 chip is at 5 nanometers. AMD is at 7 nanometers. And Intel is at 10. Like, they just cut it down from 14. But they really haven't updated the way that they've been shrinking down these chips since about 2014. They've been kind of using the same method Intel has, and that's why they're in trouble. They've gotten, when you've been the king for so long and sat on the throne, you get a little complacent, and you get a little lazy, and you start taking things for granted. And now we're in 2021, and there are literally 3 barbarians, maybe 4 at Intel's gate. Like, yeah, we're coming for that crown, Intel. And Intel's kind of just in there like Dave Chappelle with his money and during that skit, like, oh no, not my money. Yes, your money, Intel. You need to figure it out. I'm hoping at CES that we will hear something about a new chipset that is smaller, more powerful, faster. I need like $6 million man type of hype behind this chip. Like, we can rebuild it, we can make it faster, strong, like the whole thing. I even need the sound effect that like they need to do something because AMD is showing no signs of slowing down on this push to get into laptops. And I predict that we're going to see AMD in more premium laptops as 2021 goes on. And Apple is definitely not going to try to take their foot off of anybody's neck with the M1 chip. And we still haven't seen the 16-inch MacBook and everything else that they're going to that Apple is going to throw at us with this chip. And this is only the first generation of this chip, so it can only get better from here. So Intel really needs to focus. They need to put their best people on here and like find a way to shrink this chip because this is going to be a rocky 2 to 3 years for Intel if they don't.
I mean, this is Intel, which is still the dominant chip manufacturer around the world. Let's not forget. You know, even me, who's not got anywhere near the level of expertise and chip knowledge that you have, Sherri, I can tell that this is not a race that's over by a long way.
No, it's not. But it's going to get sloppy. You don't want to start losing footing because Intel has. You're right. They have the market share, but as I mentioned, you're starting to see AMD chips and laptops that aren't like mid to entry level. Like, and then you had the Swift 3 last year that was kicking the MacBook's butt, and it only cost $600. So that's the level of chip play that we're talking about here. The smaller the chip, the more power efficient it is. So that means that power can go to other important things like maybe your CPU, maybe your GPU, or maybe it makes a world of difference. And this is why it's so important. Like, it makes sure that your CPU doesn't overheat, so you can use it for longer. Your battery life, it filters into a whole bunch of things, and it's vitally important that Intel gets on this immediately if they aren't on it already, which I would have to assume that they are, because not only do you have AMD and you have Apple, you also have Qualcomm. Qualcomm, quiet as it's kept, like we're used to seeing Qualcomm in our phones. They're also getting into laptops, and they're promising all-day battery life. That's a tantalizing feature, especially if you are a mobile professional that's always on the go, or even if you're working from home. I don't want to, even when I'm sitting on the couch, I don't want to be tethered to the surge protector near my couch. And the surge protector really shouldn't be near my couch because fire hazard. But, I like living dangerously, and I have Richard's.
Wait, what? Is that true?
Yeah, it's kind of true. I have Richard's insurance. Man. Yeah. I got a lot of gadgets. It's a whole thing. But we're not talking about me and my disregard for electrical safety right now. We're talking about Intel and its need to stop resting on its laurels and get to work immediately.
Well, I think, as you said, 2021 is going to be full of surprises already. From somebody, like I said, who sits further outside of this, I reckon there's going to be more to this tale. There's got to be a lot more to come. I reckon in 2 years' time, we could be talking about either a whole new competitor or just a complete reshuffle again. And I think it's actually quite exciting. For the consumer, these things, the nanometers mean nothing to a lot of people, but they just mean, like I said, all-day battery life, longer lasting, better capabilities in terms of what these things can actually do, getting thinner. Like, you watch TV, even now, you watch TV programs from 3 to 4 years ago, and laptops have gone from... Even now, they look massive in like 4 years' time, and it's crazy to see how thin they've got, and that is largely to do with something that is nowhere near that chunky, which I think is incredible. So let's see what happens in a year's time or two. But we are massively running out of time now because we've had a good old pod this week. So any final thoughts from you, Sherri?
2020. This is the first podcast of the year. I am excited. I am rejuvenated. Let's see how long that feeling lasts.
Give you a week.
Yeah, you made Pexy giggle. Are you feeling on a high now from this hour spent chatting to your lovely friends?
Me? Yeah, loving it.
Yeah, me. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And Henry, I'm assuming you're still like cock a hoop from taking the News Blast joint crown.
Can't get over that.
But what does cock a hoop mean?
What? He's really happy.
Yeah,
Does
cock a
it?
hoop.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's a Pyrrhic victory, really, because I did tie with the previous record, so I can't really view myself as the winner.
Wow, put a downer on this. You know, I feel like you're disappointed.
I'm very competitive.
I like that. Henry's going to come back for 14.
Yeah, I'm gonna blast onto the next podcast. I'm gonna get to 20. Right? Can't stop me.
We're going to get back to the office and I'm going to be there at that bar and just see Henry just running around that statue, just screaming facts about news. Doing both at the same time, getting faster and getting quicker at saying News Blast things. It's been lovely to see you all again. Thank you for joining me on this podcast. It's always a pleasure, never a chore. Just a reminder, if you want to hear more from us, subscribing is the way to do that. If you would give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else, you can give 5 lovely stars. That would be useful. Write what you want. I mean, as long as you give us the star ratings, get us up that leaderboard, that's all that matters to us. I've definitely changed my tune from trying to be honest about it now. I don't care. If you hate us, give us 5 stars. Do it vitriolically. I don't mind. But obviously, if you do want to hear more from us, like I said, subscribing is the way to do that. Sherri, how can people get in contact with you?
People can get in contact with me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Smith 11. That is MISS Smith 11. And check out Laptop Mag for all that sweet CES 2021 coverage. And we've got big features coming up, so stay tuned. And as always, laptop then, laptop now, laptop forever.
And I always make Pexy follow that.
I'm at James RWP on Twitter. Please come to TechRadar for everything CES, but also be sure to come around on February 14th for our Samsung Galaxy S21 live blog. That's going to be one of our big articles of the next few weeks.
Should they not do that the month before?
That's the one, January 14th. I keep saying February 14th. It's because it's usually in February.
Time is meaningless.
That's the one. Sorry, January 14th. Yeah, we are still only 6 days into January, aren't we?
Yeah. And Henry, how about you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Henry_St. Ledger. I write loads of articles about TVs. You should go to TechRadar to look at them.
Yeah, I also enjoy you just go to Twitter, you'll find me.
Yeah,
just a great flex. I am Super Beav on Twitter, and that's basically it. But TechRadar is on all the socials. It's just those lovely words, Tech and Radar, put together in one word. Also, the name of the website. It's a very clever way of marketing things together. Do check it out in all its forms. Thank you very much, guys, and I will speak to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.